time for my topic. Let's let's take a deep dive.
Actually, I gotta get going, man. It's really late for me over here.
But I was going to tell you how over the break I've marathoned 200 episodes of Bleach.
Oh no! You
watching that over and again,
man. I got a lot of commitments to make.
It's not been that many. Well, I've skipped over the filler, but no, that's not my topic.
What are you talking about?
My topic today is Pokemon and Pokemon Let's Go, which I've been playing not a whole lot, but it's been a nice, fun, casual, like 2 hours every few days experience.
Give me your elevator pitch right here. How's it been?
Pokemon Let's Go is the most chill Pokemon game. Okay, so we talked about this way back months ago. Back when this was, I think in July or June, when this was first revealed, and I had some concerns here when this was out. Not like overwhelming because they said, this isn't the mainline series Pokemon game for the Switch that we were talking about. That's what I was more worried about. It was more the Let's Go-ification, or the Pokemon Go mobile-ification of Pokemon. Would these features overwhelm?
I could see that being a potential fear.
And are they bad? And I'm happy to report, at least in my experience, that they're kind of refreshing. It is so Pokemon Let's Go. There's Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. These are the two different versions of the game because there's always multiple versions of the Pokemon games. You gotta get both to get all the Pokemon in both games, essentially. So
or trade.
Exactly. You trade with your friend. You get a friend who gets one. Your significant other gets one. You both play. You have a good time. So these are semi-sequel, semi-soft reboots of Pokemon Yellow. So the starting Pokemon in the original Red and Blue, which is Yellow, is from Generation 1 in Pokemon, which were the first Pokemon games. In this game,
rock Pokemon.
If you get exactly. If you get Let's Go Eevee is your starter. If you get Let's Go Pikachu, Pikachu's your starter. And they are called your partner Pokemon. They wander around. They follow you. They learn HMs, that are secret techniques, I think is what they call them. So they don't take up a slot. There are no HMs, just like what started in, I think, Generation 6 is when they got rid of HMs. It was 7. Gen 7. It was Sun and Moon when they got rid of HMs. So you don't have HMs. None of that stuff. They're your partner Pokemon. You can evolve them, which is also what happened in Yellow. But they're not completely gimped in a way. Actually, my Eevee is my most powerful Pokemon. So the Pokemon Go stuff, I haven't played Pokemon Go in a long time, so I'm probably going to misspeak about some features that are actually in the game. But there are candies and stuff. When you catch Pokemon, you get candies. Usually the Pokemon's best stat, if they're a speed or good physical or special attacker, you'll get a candy that'll give you a +1. And you just use it on a Pokemon. Then eventually you have to give them 2. There's large versions of candy and extra large versions. So it's very easy to make your Pokemon powerful. I haven't been overusing them. But you also get the Pokemon candies if you keep catching that Pokemon, and then
that's in Pokemon Go.
Yeah, you can send your Pokemon away to the professor and get candies back for them. And if you send enough, then you'll get Eevee candies, and I've gotten 10 Eevee candies. But you also just, some trainers and milestones you reach, they'll just give you either Eevee or Pikachu candies. So so that's why my Eevee's more powerful. He's got a decent lot of stat boost. But yeah, so basically a soft reboot sequel. It does take place chronologically after Gen 1 and Gen 2 and all that stuff. You are not playing Red. Your rival is not Blue. So no Ash and Gary. You are 2 new characters. You run into Blue at least around on your travels and stuff, and your partner at one point comments that he was the Pokemon League champion at a few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. So, which I didn't know, but so one big thing about Pokemon is that you battle Pokemon and capture them. So you go into battle, you weaken them, you throw a Pokeball, you paralyze them, put them to sleep if you have a rough time. Pokemon Let's Go uses the Pokemon Go cache mechanic. So if you play in TV mode with your Switch docked, you use the Joy-Cons to throw Pokeballs. I've been playing in handheld mode, which you do not have to use motion controls to catch the Pokemon, and it is a lot better. Because you can't just oops, I turned my wrist and I missed and stuff like that. You get most of your XP actually from catching Pokemon. If you catch multiple types or multiple of the same species of Pokemon in a row, get a chain. Chains are how you get shinies. Chains also give you boosted experience every time you add on the chain. So it actually is a really quick way to level up your party fast, is to just catch 20 Zubats in a row, or wherever you are. You'll also get
Catching Pokemon gives you experience.
Yep, and you'll also again get candies if you catch Pokemon, which you can also use to level your Pokemon. I actually really like that. Random battles aren't tedious really anymore. If you want to catch a Pokemon, you get through it really fast. Pokemon also appear on the world map now. They're not random encounters, so if you don't want to fight any random encounters, you just avoid them. It's actually really good and probably the best difference. And
that's the best change that's made
to
any RPG with random encounters, is when you can avoid them.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't like them. I typically don't mind them unless the encounter rate is ridiculous. But
I'd play games with random encounters, but I still much prefer when I can choose when to do it.
Yeah, I actually have seen a lot of people actually give praise to being able to see Pokemon on the field now, because it also meant that they could try to avoid the ones that they don't want to deal with in general and try to seek out the ones they were looking for.
Yeah. And this is where I call it a soft reboot. It has a lot of you still get Bulbasaur, Charizard or Charmander, and Squirtle in this very same way you do in Pokemon Yellow. You get access to all three of the originals. You get access to them in the same way. But there's a lot more trainers. They're very different. The routes are a bit different. I'm on the bicycle route in the old game.
Canonically, 6 years later, right?
Yes,
or something like that.
A lot of stuff is similar, but at the same time, it's very different. The Pokemon are different on the routes. You can catch wild Bulbasaur in Viridian Forest. You can. Just the random locations are different. The items are different. So I was telling Mal before the podcast, I equate it more. It's almost like Black. There's Pokemon Black White and Pokemon Black and White 2. It's almost like halfway between that, kind of, in a way. It's not really a remake. There's enough different stuff and enough surprises to keep it different. And it's the more modern twist on Gen 1, so you have all the new types. You have the special physical split. TMs are not one-time use, stuff like that. So a lot of the good quality of life stuff. So for those that have Gen 1 fatigue, I could understand why they would feel it. I think Mal was the one who talked about that. But
I just... Wow. It looks really cool, but I just can't. I just don't feel like going back to play a game with only the 150.
When it goes on sale, you should play it. It is a game I definitely strongly would recommend to Pokemon fans, and it does enough stuff that's different. I've loved it. I've enjoyed my time with it immensely, and it is a very breath of fresh air on the Pokemon formula. I would love if they did this for Gen 2 eventually, then Gen 3, and then Gen 4.
Yeah,
I'd like this to become their remake series, essentially.
Yeah.
And then they can do just mainline games.
And then by the time they get to Gen 4, they'll have another way to start all over.
Yeah.
Because why remake anything past Gen 3, apparently?
Exactly. So, now I want to talk about the other half. And this is where I think, at least from what I could see, Nintendo's kind of goal with this, I think, was to bridge the gap between Pokemon Go players and actual, I don't want to say actual, but traditional Pokemon players. And I think they want to bring in the Let's Go audience. I just don't think that's necessarily going to succeed. It is the fastest selling Switch game, I think, in its first week. But compared to the other Pokemon games, it's not that big. Just
It's
because
selling
not a lot of
about-
people
well,
own Switches.
I think it's selling about on par as like any of the remakes or whatever. It's
but not
selling like a
mainline. And
I can see what they were trying to do, though, as you say. Is like, when we talked about this before when they originally announced it, that this really was very clear, like a potential. This is not only like a testing out the system and kind of utilizing it to see, like, okay, what can we do, but also kind of trying to bring in the Go players into the actual series itself, which is really, which is understandable because that really is the major focus for that.
Yeah, and how many casual mobile gamers, especially the ones who play Pokemon Go, are going to invest, $300 and then $60 into the game for a Switch in this if they don't already own a Switch. So it is kind of like it's geared towards that stuff. It does a lot of stuff that's like very friendly. A lot of people are saying the game's really easy. I just hit a point.
Yeah.
It feels normalish to me. It feels about the same as all the other ones. Like I just hit a very like.
You also said you hadn't been using all the candy.
No, and I haven't been using the candy. Like I can understand like if you just sink all your candy into your Pokemon.
If you use all of the stuff they give you, then then it's probably
it's like a weird interactive difficulty. Like if you just play it and don't use all the new features, like if you don't use partner, like 2-player battle, which obviously just makes things like super easy.
Right.
If you're just 2-on-1ing everybody. If you don't use like abuse the candies and stuff, then it's going to be about as challenging as a normal Pokemon game. Like if you think, oh, here's Shorts guy, he's going to have this stuff, and no, he doesn't. He's got something else. So like the trainers have different stuff. They're different level. You got to take like it's got all the Gen 7 mechanics in quotes. So I mean, it's different enough to where I've been surprised. Like I think some of the gym leaders have had different Pokemon, stuff like that. So I've enjoyed it a lot.
I'm curious to see. I assume this is the engine that they'll be using for the next game, though.
I'd like it to look a little
the
better.
Graphics, I don't know. I don't know if they'd have an entirely new engine though.
Yeah, the world looks good. I love on the world map. It looks fine. I think the Pokemon models are barely up-resed from the actual Go ones. I'd like them to look a little better, but. It's more nitpicky than anything. Probably they look fine. They look fine, but they could Here's my actual powerful Nintendo console. I expect my Pokemon to look at least a little bit better than that. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're cartoon monster looking things. So I don't know how much you can do and keep the cartoony style really. Tangent, but man, Gen 5. The Pokemon look so good in Gen 5. The pixel art, but they were animated and stuff, looked so good. But tangent over. But yeah, so if anyone was on the fence and is a Pokemon fan about Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, I would say I would recommend it. I've seen a lot of people, streamers and stuff, really latch onto it and enjoy it. A lot of speedrunners, actually.
I've seen a lot of people be like, I did not think I was going to like this, and this is great.
Exactly. I had very, mild expectations going into it, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I think by the end of it, and if there's enough more surprises and stuff towards the end, I'm having a lot of fun with the game. I could see it being perhaps my favorite game of the year, maybe even. I think it's definitely booted out God of War out of my top 3. So it's up there. I love it, and it's awesome to have. If it didn't have the motion controls, I would play in docked mode a lot more. But I mean, it's been really fun to play in handheld. It runs great. I haven't noticed really any lag or frame input issues or anything like that. But I mean, it's not the most powerful game. It's a Pokemon game, so
yeah,
it's
I'm
really good.
Curious to see what the next gen has in store for us.
Oh yeah, I'm too. I'm curious to see what engine they use if they borrow this one.
Right. I believe they've said that there won't be any of the Go mechanics in the next one, but
no, it's going to be its own thing. But
right.
I would love to see this continue this line and be its own line.
I think we'll see. Like they probably might take the best from both, or they might take not best from both. I should say they might take the best from Go, or things that clearly got a lot of people really liking into it, and they might try to find ways to implement it without ruining what is otherwise a considerably perfect formula for a Pokemon game. So
the one thing I'd like to see imported over the most, if they do borrow anything, is the Pokemon on the map and not the random encounters.
Yeah, I would like that too.
That is the thing I'd want the most.
But them being on the map. Also, I love like the riding the Pokemon, the Pokemon like Pokemon on the screen, your Pokemon on the screen and stuff, that sort of thing. I really like.
That's what I actually liked because I only played the original Yellow. I never played the Red or Blue. That was something that actually had me really excited about Yellow, was that your Pokemon was following
your Pikachu
you.
would follow.
Yeah,
you.
even if it was just your Pikachu, it was just awesome the fact that he was there.
Another good thing about Heart Gold and Soul Silver is your first Pokemon would be behind you.
Yeah, and
it's a little bit better than putting them in a ball. And
right.
So I was like, yeah, they're just there.
I do not have the special edition with the Pokeball that you can walk around with or anything for the free game.
Oh yeah, I saw some people on Twitter like apparently some dogs. It was some dogs went to town on those because like it's a ball that you have in your hand and will like shake and stuff.
You pretend to throw it. And stuff.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
A lot of dogs. They chewed them up and stuff.
Yeah. The one other cool thing that I noticed, I don't know if they did this in Sun and Moon, but when you use a physical move, your Pokemon will do one animation, and when you use a special attack, they'll do a different one, which is kind of neat. That I thought, like, Blastoise will open up his mouth and shoot water. Oddly enough, not out of his like hydro cannons.
I want custom animations for every Pokemon and every move.
That would be awesome.
Would love that.
That's a lot of programming.
The one thing I actually do look forward to, this is like a little joy of mine personally, but is whenever you get kind of like that Pokemon's iconic move, I love the fact that the animation kind of is matched for that. That to me is such like it's a detail. It's not really the most important thing, but man, it's really cool to see a Pokemon perform an animation for an attack that was kind of clearly designed for them, and it's like a very specific animation, like Greninja's Shuriken and whatnot.
Yeah,
that was really cool. I loved that.
Yeah, like there's having over 800 Pokemon makes it very difficult, but man, would I love that.
That would be.
Give me that Pokken. I want Pokemon, but Pokken. Where you fight and it's like Pokken.
Oh,
that would be that'd be a real nightmare. That I want to see how big that game file would be if they can pull that off.
That would be so badass. The animations of Pokemon are really good.
Yeah,
they're really
the
good.
Pokemon look good too.
Yeah, so I mean, like if Pokken was taken to, if you took Pokken and just did that for all the Pokemon with the animations, whoop!
It's a fighting game with 800 characters. Oh no! Oh no!
No, we wouldn't want that. You would have never used the first. You would have used first tiers or second tiers. You'd always be trying to find third tier Pokemon.
I want to fight with Diglett. So yeah, I'm also happy to see the low ones made it in. So that's been neat too. I like the lowland Pokemon. They cute. But anyways, yeah, it's good. It's really good and pleasantly surprised. It's the most pleasantly surprised I've been with a game in a long time because I had almost zero expectations for it. I was debating even getting it, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad it was $60 well worth spent. Well, actually, I spent less because I'm a cool boy and I got an Amazon credit card that I get Amazon points on. So I spent like $40 on it.
I believe it was the most bought video game of Black Friday, and it's not on sale.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's great.
I'm glad so many people are liking it, and again, I hope they keep doing them. I'd love to see. This
I will
be the
definitely get Gen 2 if they get it. If they do a Gen 2,
Gen 2 would be so good.
I don't remember Gen 2. Oh,
Gen 2 is the greatest. But yeah. All right. This has been episode 70, a podcast of 5 rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Topic by Topic day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. Check us out on Twitter, Podcast5R, Facebook, P5R Podcast, Ben Lilly stream at twitch.tv/PSOFlow.
Yar.
And we're almost at the end of the year episode here. Probably 2 more weeks, I think. And then we'll be off a few weeks for the holidays.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm looking forward.
So get your whatever next week's topic is. It better be freaking important. It's gonna be the last one you get of the year, because
otherwise you're fired until next year.
I'm gonna have trouble coming up with favorites for a lot of stuff. Surprisingly, it was very cut and narrow for me last year, and now I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. There's not a lot. I mean, we've got Smash Bros coming out.
Yeah, I know. Will that take the cake?
Here. Yeah, I think
like a week from Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 8 days from now. I mean, Meta, I've already illegally downloaded a leaked copy. Wink, wink. No, I didn't. I wouldn't know how to do that.
For the posterity of this
Nintendo.
Recording, I would never do such a thing, Nintendo.
Yes. I would never violate Nintendo's rights to their personal property, intellectual property, any of that stuff. I'm not a
stream Pokemon.
On my 3DS,
my lawyer has advised me that
I paid $500 for a 3DS with a capture card inside of it.
Actually, speaking of, did you see that Nintendo just released new?
Oh yeah.
They're finally in the 2018.
They're finally getting caught up to the modern age. It's amazing.
We can't punish people for making stuff out of our stuff. Oh, or we shouldn't.
Finally,
they upgraded their what is it? Content creation rules? Is that what they call it?
Yes, the content creation rules, which now states that you cannot put raw footage of anything, but if there's commentary or edits on it, or it's being utilized in something, they won't knock it.
It's still not the greatest, but hey, they're taking a step forward.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, if you're just gonna upload like the soundtrack or something, I can understand them getting a little frustrated about it. I can get that. But it was when they were going after people who were using it either like in reviews, or they were playing the game and talking over
Let's
it.
plays, streams, those
stuff
sort of
like
things.
that. That's
stuff
not
that everyone is doing for every other video game.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird to be going after that. So,
all right, let's get out of here. We'll see you guys next week with some stellar topics.
Yes. Absolutely.
Sound off, Meta.
Like
you started
some of the
this.
games I played.
Like,
we'll never know what Mao
oh,
played.
look at the time. We gotta go. Bye.
Bye.